accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act, NJSA 10:4-6 et sec, notice of which was sent to the record in the Star Ledger and was posted on the municipal bulletin board. Councilmember Von Rudenberg.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Sims.
Here.
Councilmember Pataglia.
Here.
Mayor LaBrus.
Here. Would everybody please rise for the flag salute? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. And this evening we have a couple proclamations and presentations to deal with. So, I'm going to do one quick proclamation. Believe it or not, it's about diapers. Right? But diapers are a very important part of our lives and growing up. And it reads, whereas diaper need, the condition of not having a sufficient supply of clean diapers to ensure that infants and toddlers are clean, healthy, and dry, can adversely affect the health and welfare of infants, toddlers, and their families. And whereas national surveys report that 1 in 3 mothers experience diaper needs at some time while their children are less than 3 years of age, and 48% of families delay changing a diaper to extend the supply. And whereas the average infant or toddler requires an average of at least 50 diaper changes per week over 3 years, and whereas there are no government assistance programs for the purchase or provision of diapers, and the monthly supply of diapers can cost as much as 6% of a full-time minimum wage worker's salary. Therefore, obtaining a sufficient supply of diapers can cause economic hardships to families, and whereas the supply of diapers is generally an eligibility requirement for infant and toddlers to participate in child care programs and quality early education programs, and whereas the people of Hackensack recognize that addressing diaper need can lead to economic opportunity for the state's low-income families and can lead to improved health for families and their communities. And whereas Hackensack is proud to be home to various community organizations that recognize the importance of diapers in helping provide economic stability for families and distribute diapers to poor families through various channels. Now, therefore, I, John P. LaBrus Jr., Mayor of the City of Hackensack, along with the members of the City Council, do hereby proclaim the week of September 24th through September 30th, 2018 as Diaper Need Awareness Week, and encourage the citizens of Hackensack to donate generously to diaper banks, diaper drives, and those organizations that distribute diapers to families in need to help alleviate diaper needs in Hackensack and our surrounding communities. So it's a worthwhile organization, Moms Helping Moms, and we have an organization here in town that actually works with them. So now, our next line of order. This summer we had a baseball team in Hackensack, the Hackensack Comets, in the 2018 NYBL Summer League this year's baseball championships for 2018. Last year when this team was assembled, they didn't win any games, but their perseverance, preparation, and dedication to improve and get better led them into the summer season with a different attitude and a winning mentality. With the addition of 6 Rochelle Park players, the Comets went on to win 7 games in the regular season, earning them the 3rd seed in the playoffs. As the playoffs progressed, they began to click and believe in themselves as a unit. When it was all said and done, they did not lose one game and they won the championship. This story of perseverance and dedication shows that with hard work you can achieve anything, even championships. Go Comets. I'm with you on that one, guys. Go Comets. Congratulations, guys. For the first line of order, I'm going to bring up the 4 coaches, all right? I don't know who was the head coach? Brady Allen. I'm going to bring up the head coach first. All right. Well, you guys can sit up straight and I'll be with the kids. Second coach, Jeff Haraz. Good job. Good job. There you go. Coach Mike isn't here? And was there another coach too? Okay. I don't see hers here. Deb, did you have one for Nadia? Were there 3 or 4?
I'm not.
Oh, it's Nadia. I know Nadia. Okay.
It's okay.
Anyway, special recognition to,
Thank you.
what was her title? Nadia University. What was her title? Team mom/manager. Great job. All right. Now we're going to call up the kids' names. So you come up when your name is called and stay up here with us. Andre Niza. Great job, Andre. Andrew Riley. Not here? Okay. Soccer game tonight. Anthony Diaz. Good job, buddy. Awesome.
Shake with the right, grab with the left.
There you go. DJ Allen. Charles Ramirez. Charlize Ramirez. Not here? We'll get it to them. Garrett Crowell. Joseph Leonardi.
He reminds me of my Joey.
Josh Rodriguez.
And he's going to try out with 4-2. Out of the snow.
Justin Haratz.
He's got to play pass.
Matt Dell.
Move down. And move to your right. Everybody move separate. Okay. Move to the right.
Rogelio Salcedo. Thomas Goslaw. Thomas and Gallerina. All right, folks. City officially wants to present to you the 2018 NYBL Summer League Baseball Champions.
Please don't do it this fall.
All right. Congratulations, boys. You represented Hackensack very well. Here's the award here, Coach. Bradley? Can I get this?
email it.
We'll take a 3 or 4 minute recess while the room clears out. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Have a good night, guys. There it comes. Everybody's back? Okay, back in action.
We have
There are no minutes
we
to
have no
approve.
minutes, yeah.
Okay, so we're going to go right to the manager's report, please.
Yes, good evening, Mayor and Council, invited guests. This is the city manager's report for September 4th. Officially, the splash parks are now closed for 2018. The parking meters from McKay, the bid went out for the details to come up where we're going to upgrade our parking meters throughout the city. The 2019 recycling calendar. This is the final reminder that all suggestions should be forwarded to the city manager's email, which is citymanager@hackensack.org. The deadline is tomorrow. Obviously, I think we'll be changing the name of the calendar from 2019 recycling to World Book Encyclopedia because there'll be so much information included in that, but I'm a fan of giving people exactly what they asked for. 2-day-a-week garbage collection usually ends on Labor Day, which is September 3rd. The calendar reads September 7th. So we will be picking up sanitation till Friday to make sure that we complete this. And hopefully in the 2019 calendar, we will get this correct. I will be so happy. Our recreation department will be hosting a senior trip to West Point on Thursday, October 4th. Tickets go on sale September 6th at the 39 Broadway location. Please refer to hackensack.org for more details. And the information is presented in a flyer in Spanish and English. Tickets are $20. Building department updates, 105 notices written, 206 inspections made, 13 summonses issued, 9 CCOs were completed. Good luck to all of our teachers and children who will begin the 2018 school year tomorrow. A very exciting day for many parents. Yippee. So, we hope that all these children are safe, happy, and have a good year and make the city proud. And that would complete the city manager's report. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, into business. Resolution 341-18.
This is a resolution for the final adoption of ordinance number 38, 2018, an ordinance to establish 2 alternate members to service on the Hackensack Environmental Commission. This ordinance has been advertised pursuant to law and now calls for a public hearing.
Okay, need a motion to open to the public, please?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody from the public who'd like to speak on this ordinance and this ordinance only, please come forward. Seeing no one from the public, motion to close to the public.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, none opposed? Need a motion to adopt the ordinance?
Offer. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, none opposed?
Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Hackensack County of Bergen, the State of New Jersey, that ordinance number 38, 2018 has passed its second and final reading and is hereby adopted.
Thank you. Resolution 342-18.
This is a resolution for the final adoption of ordinance number 39-2018, an ordinance to amend Chapter 93 of the Code of the City of Hackensack, garbage, rubbish, and refuse to prohibit the disposal of garden refuse in suitable garbage receptacles provided by or purchased from the City of Hackensack. This ordinance has been advertised pursuant to law and now calls for a public hearing.
Okay, I need a motion to open to the public on this ordinance and this ordinance only.
Offer.
Need a second? All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed? Need a motion to adopt the ordinance?
Offer. Second.
All in
Wait,
favor?
Wait. We just opened it to the public. There's nobody there. No one wishes to speak?
Right.
Okay, we need to close to the public.
Motion to close to the public, my bad.
Offer.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to adopt the ordinance. Getting ahead of myself.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed?
Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Hackensack County of Bergen and State of New Jersey that ordinance number 39-2018 has passed its second and final reading and is hereby adopted.
Thank you. Resolution 343-18.
This is a resolution for the final adoption of ordinance number 40-2018, an ordinance to amend and rename Chapter 44 of the Code of the City of Hackensack, abandoned properties to abandoned and nuisance properties, and establish procedures for the city's exercise of police power over unfit buildings. This ordinance has been advertised pursuant to the law and now calls for a public hearing.
Before I open to the public, I want to make it clear that the word police power does not relate to the police, relates to the city itself. In this case, it would be our building department, most likely the head of the building department, Mr. Cisco, correct?
That is correct. This ordinance would allow the city to take some action in the event there are buildings that are in a state of disrepair where the construction official in his judgment believes that some action is necessary in order to ensure their safety and stability. It also establishes a full process of allowing the building or the property owner to respond and either address such issues before the city would actually take unilateral action, again, for health, safety, and welfare reasons.
Okay, thank you. Need a motion to open to the public?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody from the public who'd like to speak on ordinance 343-18 and only 343-18, please come forward. Seeing no one from the public, motion to close to the public.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
With none opposed, motion to adopt the ordinance.
Offer. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed.
Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Hackensack County of Bergen and State of New Jersey that ordinance number 40-2018 has passed its second and final reading and is hereby adopted.
Thank you. Resolution 344-18.
This is a resolution for final adoption of ordinance number 41-2018, an ordinance approving assignment of financial agreement pursuant to the long-term tax exemption law from Mansion House Urban Renewal LLC to DPB Associates Urban Renewal LLC. This ordinance has been advertised pursuant to law and now calls for a public hearing.
Okay, I need a motion to open to the public.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Sorry,
Aye.
who seconded?
Mrs. Von Rodenberg?
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
None opposed? Anybody from the public who'd like to speak on this ordinance and this ordinance only, please come forward. Seeing no one, motion to close.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed? Motion to adopt the ordinance.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed?
Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Hackensack County of Bergen and State of New Jersey that ordinance number 41-2018 has passed its second and final reading and is hereby adopted.
Thank you. Resolution 345-18.
This is a resolution for the final adoption of ordinance number 42-2018, An ordinance authorizing 15-year tax exemption for a market rate retail apartment project to be constructed by 22 Sussex Street Urban Renewal LLC, an urban renewal entity pursuant to the long-term tax exemption law NJSA 40A:20-1 et sec. This ordinance has been advertised pursuant to law and now calls for public hearing.
Thank you. Need a motion to open to the public?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed? At this time, anybody would like to speak about this ordinance and this ordinance only, please come forward. Seeing no one from the public, motion to close.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed? Motion to adopt the ordinance.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed.
Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Hackensack County of Bergen and State of New Jersey that ordinance number 42-2018 has passed its second and final reading and is hereby adopted.
Thank you. Resolution 346-18.
Okay, this is a resolution for the final adoption of ordinance number 43-2018, an ordinance amending record site redevelopment plan. This ordinance has been advertised pursuant to law and now calls for public hearing. Mayor, we were told that we should hold the public hearing, but you need to do a motion to table the vote until the next meeting, which is September 25th.
Based on what? Based by who, though?
Brian
That's fine,
Nelson had said that this needs to go to the
Okay,
planning
that's
board,
fine.
and from the planning board, it has to come back to us.
Okay, so we'll open to the public.
Open to the public.
Motion to open to the public.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody from the public who would like to speak on this ordinance and this ordinance only, please come forward. Seeing no one from the public, motion to close to the public.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
And then we need
None
a
opposed. Need a
motion.
motion to
Table
table
the
this.
vote
Table
on
the vote.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed? That's it on that, right?
Okay, so that was a motion to table the vote on ordinance 43-2018 to the September 25th, 2018 meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it's numbered,
Do we have to do the doctrine of necessity before this?
Yes,
right?
that's correct. So,
Right, 'cause
you know,
it's numbered.
when it comes,
we're gonna do ordinance 363, which is a write-in, -18.
This is resolution 363-18, which is out of order right at the moment. It's a resolution invoking the doctrine of necessity to allow the city council to act on resolution 347-18, which will introduce an ordinance to establish the position of Class 3 special law enforcement officers within the city of Hackensack and make further amendments to Chapter 32 of the Code of the City of Hackensack.
and if I might be heard briefly, and I know we discussed this in the COW meeting, but the purpose of this resolution, as it states in its title, is because three members of the city council have potentially disqualifying relationships with the Hackensack Board of Education, and out of an abundance of precaution, to ensure that no one would believe that the action of introducing an ordinance to provide for Class 3 SLEO police officers to serve in the school system might possibly represent a conflict. This is a way that the council, given the necessity for the ordinance and there's no other way to pass it, can move forward and protect itself from any what I believe would be unwarranted, but any claims that there might be a conflict of interest in adopting the ordinance. So I drafted this so that once you vote on it, you will have invoked the doctrine, and then you would be able to proceed to vote on introduction of the ordinance itself.
My question to you is, at the adoption of the ordinance, do we have to do it again?
No, I mean, I believe you're invoking it here,
Based on
and,
this
you know,
ordinance, and
I
it
think
carries through.
probably maybe we'll make a note of it. We'll raise that again just for the public record
Okay.
at the next meeting to remind everybody that the doctrine was invoked to allow you to proceed forward with this legislation.
Very good. Okay, need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, none?
Okay, now we have resolution 347-18, which is the introduction of ordinance number 31-2018, an ordinance to establish the position of Class 3 Special Law Enforcement Officer within the city of Hackensack and make further amendments to Chapter 32 of the Code of the City of Hackensack. Need a motion.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
All in favor?
Aye.
Be it resolved that the above ordinance being ordinance 31-2018 is introduced, is now passed on first reading, and that said ordinance shall be considered for final passage at a meeting to be held on September 25th, 2018, at 8:00 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the matter can be reached at the regular meeting place of the City Council, and at such time and place all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance, and that the city clerk be and she is hereby authorized and directed to publish said ordinance according to law, with a notice of its introduction and passage on first reading, and of the time and place when and where said ordinance will be further considered for final passage.
Thank you. Resolution 348-18.
This is a resolution for the introduction of ordinance number 44-2018, an ordinance to amend Chapter 170 of the Code of the City of Hackensack Parking to update various provisions regulating on-street parking meters and off-street municipal parking lots.
Need a motion, please.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed, none. Resolution,
Be it
sorry.
resolved that the above ordinance being ordinance 44-2018 is introduced, is now passed on first reading, and that said ordinance shall be considered for final passage at a meeting to be held on September 25th, 2018, at 8:00 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the matter can be reached at the regular meeting place of the City Council, and at such time and place all persons interested be given an opportunity to be heard concerning said ordinance, and that the city clerk be and she is hereby authorized and directed to publish said ordinance according to law, with a notice of its introduction and passage on first reading, and of the time and place when and where said ordinance will be further considered for final passage.
Thank you. Resolution 349-18.
This is a resolution for authorizing tax refund for overpayment.
Need a motion, please.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. Resolution 350-18.
This is a resolution awarding a co-op contract for purchase of a smart parking meter system in the amount of $300,000.
Need a motion, please.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, none. Resolution 351-18.
A resolution for the authorization of rejecting all bids for the Carver Park Tennis Court renovation project.
Need a motion, please.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Resolution 352-18.
A resolution authorizing the cancellation of stale and outstanding checks.
Offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so that was offered by
Actually,
Councilmember Von
Need an offer.
Rudenberg and
She offered,
seconded by
right. I
Councilmember
can't offer. 'Cause
Pataglia.
Yeah.
Resolution 353-18.
A resolution authorizing accrued time payout of $51,124.25 to Diane Lomia from the Police Department.
Need a motion.
Offer.
Going back to 52-18, did we vote on that? Or just do the motion?
Yeah, no, the roll call was done. I
Okay.
just reiterated.
Wanted to make
who
sure.
Introed and seconded. And this was, Resolution 353-18 was introed by Deputy Mayor Sims. We need a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. Resolution 354-18.
This is a resolution awarding a co-op contract in the amount of $85,475 for the purchase of 5 2019 Chevrolet Spark vehicles for the Hackensack Parking Utility.
Need a motion, please?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, none. Resolution 355-18.
A resolution authorizing award of bid for the contract for former Pistol Range soil remediation project.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor? Only on a ordinance. There'll be public speaking at the public session. All right? Thank you, ma'am.
All right, so this was Resolution 355-18 with an intro by Deputy Mayor Canestrino, a second by Councilman Pataglia, a vote of yes, all in favor down the line.
All in favor? Aye. No one opposed. Resolution 356-18.
Resolution 356-18 is a resolution authorizing a rights-of-way license agreement with Mobilite LLC.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
Roll call? Or all in favor?
Aye.
All of that
None opposed.
All right.
Resolution 357-18.
is payment of bills.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, none opposed. Anybody have an issue with the consent agenda? Any conflicts?
Second.
Nope.
No?
363 is already done.
Okay. for the
Okay.
consent? Okay.
Need
The
a-
following items are considered to be routine in nature and will be enacted in one motion. Any items require expenditure are supported by a certificate of availability of funds. Any item requiring discussion will be removed from the consent agenda, and the consent agenda items will be reflected in full in the minutes, including any exceptions and/or additions. The consent agenda consists of Resolution 358-18 through 362-18. 358-18, a resolution authorizing a liquor license renewal for Western Beverage Corporation for the years 2018 through 19. Resolution 359-18 is a resolution authorizing Richard C. Pecorian as temporary judge for the Hackensack Municipal Court. Resolution 360-18 is a resolution appointing Pedro Del Vecchio and Lorelei Kaminsky to the Environmental Commission. Resolution 361-18 is a resolution of approval and adoption of the Hackensack Employee Handbook. And Resolution 362-18 is a resolution authorizing a liquor license renewal for Aladdin of New Jersey, Inc. for 2018 to 2019. We need a motion.
Need a motion, please?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, none opposed? All right, that's that. Need an offer to open to the public, please?
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody from the public who'd like to speak, please come forward. You'll have 3 minutes. Give your name and address to the clerk, please.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Ryan Roy, Autism Advocate, 167 Northwest Wing Ave, Saddlebrook, New Jersey, 07663. I actually, it's been a while since I came to the Mayor and Council meeting since February. And actually, I know you guys gave a proclamation of, the city of Hackensack that became designated as stigma-free. And I know Paul Nichols and I were part of this proclamation. And I was actually humbly honored and humbled to be part of this, privilege. I know that last month, Mayor White actually did the walk, for stigma-free that actually took place at Otto C. Paley Park. And it was really much of amazing that they really made this more of a way that is, to really, make an awareness for those who suffer from mental health and illnesses. And I know that, this week is back to school in the month of September, and I know that hopefully, safety is really necessary. It has to be implemented for all the children who are actually attend schools, especially having all school buses be, in a 3-lap seatbelt, which is so important because we would rather avoid, tragic incidences that happen just like the ones through the Paramus Board of Education, and especially in Florida as well, and with the shooting that actually caused a massacre of 16 lives. And I know that this is so important that I know every schools in Bergen County actually attended the protest of walking to really let everyone know that this is necessary, and they have to really fight for the rights of making sure that they're safe and nothing goes awry when it comes to safety. So I believe that this is something that needs to be addressed, and especially for those who suffer from mental illnesses and health related issues, and even for me with a developmental disability, it's considered as mental health and needs to be implemented in a lot of ways. So that's all I have to say. Thanks.
Thank you, Ryan. Next, please.
Hi, my name is Jane Mulstock, and I live at 150 Overlook Avenue in Hackensack. Oh, sorry. Should I say it again?
Okay.
No, you're fine. It's just for the record.
Okay. I've lived in Hackensack. I've been a taxpayer in Hackensack since 1982. And I live in a high-rise, and this summer our parking garage was deemed unsafe by the Hackensack Building Department. And as a result, many of us do not have parking in our spots. So I myself lost mine, and the person that I live with also lost his. So we have 2 cars to park every day. So I went online and I downloaded a resident parking application, and I went over to the police department and they told me that I'm not entitled to one because I live on Overlook. And I said, well, why is that? And they said, because you have a parking garage. So I was feeling a little Kafkaesque there, since I can't use my parking garage. There are about 60 cars in the building that cannot park. So we are, for the most part, elderly, many women, and many handicapped people. And the solution that was offered to us was Atlantic and that parking garage on between Main and State on Atlantic, which is a mile from our building. And I do believe that Summit is my neighborhood, Summit Avenue. It's 2 blocks away from where I live. I actually walk there often, and I can park there, but only for 2 hours, unless I have a resident parking sticker. So it's a temporary situation. They say that the repairs are going to be completed by Thanksgiving. And the clerk in the office where I went with my application suggested that I come here and speak to you guys because we need help. I mean, many more people from the building would have come tonight, but the problem is that they got parking spots and they didn't want to give them up. I only came because I had a ride. I mean, we prefer to park on Overlook or on American Legion or on Beach, which is really close, but I'm sure you're well aware of the fact that people who work in the high school park there, and those spots are very hard to come by. I've never really paid attention to it because I always had my own parking spot and it was never an issue, but it's a big issue now.
Okay.
So I hope you can consider giving us we are all tax-paying citizens.
No, I understand that. And we're going to let everybody speak on this issue who would like to speak. So, and then the council will address it
The city manager.
afterwards, and the city manager as well.
Thank you.
Just to make everybody aware that we were just made aware of this within the last week. So, I mean, you know,
We were
parking,
parking in the Hackensack High School parking lot over the summer,
right,
but of course,
the school's closed.
that's finished.
Next, please.
Mayor, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Glenn Cassis. I'm the building manager for 150 Overlook, the building in which one of the residents just spoke regarding parking. Just for the point of record, the building had just completed its 5-year stability report as required by all high-rise buildings in Hackensack. And during that generation of that report, it was determined that there were certain aspects and repairs needed to the structure. While it wasn't deemed unsafe, there was necessarily, or the need to make necessary repairs, get the structure into compliance and to keep it safe. I know, well, let me first say, because I've oftentimes, 20 years on the zoning board in Cresskill, I know often it's you don't get as many thank yous as you deserve. So I'd like to thank the mayor and council. Also like to thank the office of the manager. I've dealt with Jackie, very kind, helpful, and courteous person. I think the issue at hand here really has to deal with the interpretation in my discussion with her over what constitutes a resident of that area, and this is the language right inside on the application, or resident within that area. Nowhere in the application whatsoever does it say that you must live on that street in order to park on it. It just refers to the area. So as you heard, we do have quite a few people that are quite upset over this. They have no place to park. The Hackensack High School was very kind in letting us park there, but now that school started, they can't do that anymore. So what we're looking for, because parking a very great distance away is just not feasible. It's an option while it was available months ago. It was made option to us today again. But on behalf of the elderly, there's a lot of people in the building in their 80s and 90s that can't walk that far. They could barely walk across the street when we were parking in the high school parking lot. So what we're really looking for is a short-term solution. Well, I've only been the manager there for approximately 4 years. I'm told that never before has this request been in front of mayor and council, at least in the 15 years that the last person I spoke to could remember. So this is an unusual request. It seems like a simple request. We're asking to use public streets. We're asking to be a part of, quote unquote, resident of that area or a resident within that area to be considered for these parking permits. Whether or not the parking permits have to be issued in something that hangs on the mirror, which we would be happy to leave some form of security deposit if need be. We'd be willing to pay for the production of those IDs. We understand that it is something being done specifically for us, so we don't object to dealing with any costs associated with productions of those, or just plain stickers and having something, whether I have to scrape them off with a razor myself, I'll be happy to do that and get them back.
Glenn,
But,
your 3 minutes is up.
okay.
But we will discuss everything you brought up afterwards, along with every other residence issue.
Okay, and thank you, excuse
Thank
my
you.
overtime on that.
Next, please. Anybody else on the parking issue? Next up, please. You want to, do you want to talk publicly about this now, or?
Ted, do you want to answer?
However you want to do it, now or you
Till
want to
the
wait?
end, or whatever?
Go
We
either
can do
way.
it now. Doesn't matter to me.
As
Do
long
you
as- has
object,
everyone
Mr.
spoken
Sulkin? No
that
problem?
wants to talk about the Overlook property?
There are other people here, but I guess they don't want to speak.
Well, it was just reiterating exactly what
Okay.
they were saying.
We just want to make sure we gave you all the
I have
opportunity
a quick
to
question.
speak.
Ms. Molstock, you said the on-street parking that you were looking at was which street?
Summit.
Summit. Okay, just go ahead.
Okay. Couple things. The city is really good at addressing problems with notice. We've just recently heard about this probably in the last 10 days. This started to become an issue last week and now obviously is continued in this week. You folks were parking at the high school. I didn't know anything about that. So since this has been brought to our attention, we went to the police department to see if we could use Comet Way. We've gone to the high school to see if we could find another place to park. I called Excelsior to see if they would accommodate that. See, great minds think alike. I've tried every opportunity to find parking for you. So Jacqueline Stout, who persevered through this, then thought of the notion that maybe we could make some arrangement with the HUMC to occupy one of their parking garages. My last comment to her before I planned to attend another meeting was to find out what Stratford was going to do as their part of this. Because candidly, the city is not responsible for providing parking for private entities. You folks have your own building. I understand the hardship. We have a few hardships that I have to address every day here, and I'm not saying that we remove the fact that you're taxpayers. That's not the issue here. The problem is we only have so much limited parking. So, and we have offered overnight parking passes to residents through the police department for a temporary situation. But the last explanation I received was, you folks are probably gonna need this for 90 days. This is not a quick fix by any stretch of imagination. I've waived things, I've made some magic happen for 3 days, 5 days, 10 days. But the little story that I'm being told is, you're at this 60 minimum and probably closer to 90 days. So 90 days is not a small project, and the other problem is, once we move you into it, we displace somebody else because there's only so much parking in the city of Hackensack. So the best that we've come up with thus far is to offer parking in the Atlantic Street garage, but as I said to Jackie, we need a shuttle. And that, I think, needs to come from you folks, because the city has found every possible way. I sat with the gentleman that's in charge of parking, Bill Daly. I met with Jacqueline today. The mayor was in for a brief meeting. We've attempted to find or craft some resolve, some results to help you folks out. The problem is, I go back to, I'll keep repeating myself over and again, there's only so much parking, and the minute we turn you folks loose on these streets, now I'm gonna have a room full of people that say, oh, wait a minute now, we were parking here before, now what gives them the right to come basically over into our neighborhood or subsection and start parking there? I would love to turn around and say, listen folks, I found an answer through the school, we can provide parking, this is all gonna work. Obviously, I thought maybe we had nibbled on something with HUMC, maybe they could provide some parking. I understand that this is an older group of residents, and this displacement is tough on them. I know that you folks pay a fee every month for parking, so there's a responsibility for Stratford to provide parking or find terms. If I had it, I'd provide it. The problem is, I'm really starting to run out of options, because I've looked at every building in the vicinity. I know that just for me to turn around and say, we're just gonna issue 60 temporary passes and let people park all over the street, we're gonna have a room full of people here. The police department turned this down because they know the volume of parking. I have the police department tonight checking parking garages to see how many people are actually using these parking spots. We're trying. I wish I could provide you an immediate solution to your problem, but unfortunately, you didn't give me a lot of time to solve this problem, because you knew this overhaul of the parking deck was going on for the summer. Like I said, I just found out last week.
Can we just quickly address, to rebut that? I mean, the work that was uncovered was buried in concrete. We didn't notice the issue until the concrete was removed. In fairness.
No.
And in addition, you were notified after we had duplicated all those efforts to locate parking between the school, between the other buildings, and making all those efforts. So we exhausted every effort possible, as your department did as well. But that was all done between the time we noticed and the time you were noticed. So there was that time we didn't want to immediately go to the city for assistance. We wanted to try to do everything ourselves before we approached your office. So that would explain why you were notified with the last ditch effort of obtaining residential parking permits, which when driving around the streets for the past few days in the evening and daytime, you're suggesting that there isn't enough parking. I mean, I could have them videotape to show that there is a mass quantity of parking on the streets, especially in the evenings when the residents need it the most. And it's not unusual for parking arrangements to be made, especially when the rules specifically state that, or don't state that you have to live on that street in order to get the parking. So granting a request for parking on a street when your document that you submit, that is submitted for the application, specifically says the area, it doesn't say the street. So I don't see where granting permission to park on a public street where people aren't currently parking, it constitutes.
Yeah, we're gonna, Mr. Cassis, we usually don't allow back and forth from the audience, but because of the nature of what's going on here, I allowed that. But and I'm gonna address something you just said there, when you were done with yours. Here's one of my current, Summit Avenue, between where were you looking? What areas?
Between Beach and American Legion, and maybe a little bit north of that.
Okay, because you are aware
And
there's
a little bit south.
part of the overlay zone, and there's a lot of doctors' offices and such on those streets. You take 60 cars and
Not
take,
at night.
okay, but this isn't determined by day or night. Okay, so if you put 60 cars, where do those patients go to go to these medical facilities? That's one of my fears. I mean, to take away somebody's livelihood, and not only that, the opportunity to healthcare because they can't find a parking spot. You got to, we have to. You're taxpayers, so are they. we have to think of all the taxpayers. So I can't take from, rob from Peter to pay Paul here, as far as parking goes. Not to say we're not gonna keep working on a solution here, because we are. We're working hard on a solution all day long, basically. A good part of today was spent on this parking issue. But,
Maybe we could look at, evening only, like after 10 PM.
Well,
From 10
the
PM
problem is,
until
where there
6 AM or
is,
something,
where there is parking,
Can I approach and speak?
absolutely, we're still open to the public.
I mean, maybe we could try, but it would have to be, a special sticker that would have to be, after 10, because some doctor's offices are open till 8 or 9.
Just please give your name and address to the clerk, and you have 3 minutes.
Yes, my name is Marilyn Graves. I'm a resident of 150 Overlook Avenue. So I just wanted to add to that by saying that the streets around American Legion and the tennis courts and 2nd Street, where the high school is, that's all mostly empty in the evening as well. And like you said, if it's possible, again, this is a temporary situation, we're just asking, you could put a restriction and say, you only can park between 7 and 7 AM or something like that, for this period of time, from today through November 30th. Just so that people can be able to work and come home and have a place to be and not have tickets piling up. Also, I don't know if you're aware, we have 3 doctor's offices in our building as well. We have an OBGYN, we have a primary care doctor, and a weight loss doctor.
So can you use, can you use those parking spots?
No, we cannot.
Why can't you use those from 7 to 7?
Because we already lost those parking spaces for those doctors. There's only right now elderly people who are using some of those spots, and it's a very small number, and it's actually restricted. Correct.
How many spots do you have total left?
I don't know how many we have right now.
It's difficult to say. I mean, there's 132 families, probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 300 spots in total.
Well, my recommendation would be the elderly would get their first shot at spots.
Which
In the
again,
building.
we have a
I mean,
larger portion
yeah.
of elderly patients, but we only
I'd
have.
hate to see a 35-year-old couple have a spot and a 90-year-old guy's walking 5 blocks to park his car, or a man or woman. That would be crazy. So that's something you guys would have to work out amongst yourselves.
Right, which in some cases, yes, we have already done that, but
The other issue is on Summit Avenue, the only place there really is maybe a more abundant amount of parking during the daytime and plenty at night is down further going in between Central and Passaic Street.
Well, that would be fine, but you can
But-
only park there for 2 hours.
That's what I would ask the city manager to have traffic, just look at that's between Central and Passaic. It's pretty much out of the overlay zone. Rick, do you know if that's out of the overlay zone?
and I would
Yeah.
like to refer to 2nd Street.
And-
That's right in that area going toward
Atlantic Street,
Central.
American Legion, you don't need to, there's
No,
no,
you don't need, but they're usually
right.
taken.
right.
The hospital people all park there.
And that was between Central and Passaic.
Central and Passaic on
On
Summit.
Summit.
That's the only place. I
Maybe
think
we
they
could have traffic look at the evening hours, like, I think, even if it was 10 to 7 or something,
The issue
Some of the
also-
doctors have hours in the evening, so we have to accommodate their businesses, but if it was maybe
And
late.
I would go as far as, if we were to do this, notify the residents there to let them know. If there's any issues, to bring them to our attention right away, via an email or a number, and deal with it that way.
The other issue that's gonna come up is, and you state your case very clearly, is that the elderly residents that live in that building are not gonna park and get up at 6:30 in the morning and walk over and pick up their cars, because they're not going to work, their cars are gonna sit there. So this is the reason why the mayor highlights what I just already
They should stay
stated.
there all day.
Turning out 60 extra parking, those people are not moving those cars.
We were able to work with the younger people and the older people in the building. That we can solve, but we just need a place to put them. So that solution has already been determined. It's just a matter of getting a specific guideline set where it's.
I would do this, if it were to happen, I don't know if it's gonna happen, if it were to happen on that area, and maybe, it would be a separate sticker, specific
Yes.
color.
And also, we could provide license plate if you needed the actual license plate.
Well, you would when you get the stickers, but you would have to make sure that everyone was informed that if you were there after 7 AM, you're gonna be ticketed.
So.
You know, or before 10 PM, whatever numbers we come up with based on the feedback we get from the people that, the businesses that use that parking, we would have to, Ted would definitely have to communicate to people up and down, and find what the hours would be.
So thank all of you for coming. We'll take this up again tomorrow morning and we'll give it another shot here. But I'm glad you came because this is publicly gonna be explained to the public that this isn't that the city doesn't care. This isn't the city is too busy to do this. We have spent some hours on trying to find a result for this, but unfortunately, this is not an easy task because the minute I move you, you shove it 3 inches that way, it's gonna have to come back 3 inches back the other to remain on center, and that's the problem.
So, and this is gonna take at least a day because traffic is going to have
We have to
to,
notify the residents, it's gonna take way more than a day.
yeah, but we won't have any kind of answers on
Understood?
what type of people are parking on Summit in that area.
If I may, I still don't understand why the Atlantic Street garage would not work. I mean, I know it would be an imposition on the operation of the apartment, but, I mean, you do have an obligation. No, let me finish. I'm not saying I want you to walk from there, but I'm saying that the Stratford House could provide shuttle service, you know, and there's a phone number you call, and you know that, hey, every half hour, I can call on the hour, whatever it may be, and that someone's gonna pick me up and bring me back and forth. And then you'd have garaged parking, we have spots there, and, no one would be walking anywhere, it would be like valet, and I know it would be an inconvenience for the apartment building, but we wouldn't be inconveniencing the rest of the city. You would have total accommodation, and yes, it would be at some cost to your operation there, but in all fairness, yes, we're required to do these inspections every 5 years, but you folks should be doing annual inspections of this and making sure that your garage is safe. I mean, that's critical here. To have it get to this point, this was a pretty significant, if it's gonna take this long to fix it, this wasn't a minor infraction here. So we have to kind of look at both sides of it and say, why can't we, I know this may not be exactly what you want, but this may be the best solution because the city could do this. And with cooperation from the building, I think everybody's problem would be solved. No one would be walking anywhere. So I ask you to maybe go back and think about that as well. If we run into a brick wall, at least it's a backup plan. Okay?
All right?
Okay.
You're up, Mr. Sullivan.
Consistent with the theory that the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Yes.
What about the eastern segment of American Legion on the southern side is no parking, but a temporary bait. It's a narrow road, but.
You're talking about going eastbound.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about that as well.
Okay.
We did talk about that. But I think there's only maybe.
60 spots
that
is a
might
lot
be
of spots.
Maybe 20.
Yeah, well,
25
20's
spots.
pretty
Yeah,
much-
it's a help. It would help. But these are the things we're working on.
Yeah.
But we got to get through traffic division in order to do it.
Okay, Richard Salkin, Hackensack, New Jersey. On your consent agenda, the resolution 36118 pertaining to the Hackensack Employee Handbook, which is this. What amendments did you do?
Mr. Kleiman.
Well, again, I'm not the labor council, but to the best of my knowledge, this is simply a readoption of the existing handbook.
No changes?
No changes. There may be future changes that will come back before the council. I believe there are updates and some things that need to be worked on with that, and that's something that's
I'll accept
ongoing.
your representation with no changes. Back I dug this out 2012. You're the only probably person in the room who participated in it. The then council said that the employee handbook should be posted online on the website. It's not. I mean, this was like a treasure hunt. So going forward, you're going to make changes. I can only urge you to make sure it's done publicly.
Yep.
So it's not a,
Absolutely.
well, hopefully. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sullivan. Next, please. Ma'am, how are you?
Hi, apologize for interrupting earlier.
That's okay.
My first meeting, I didn't know what the policy was.
Welcome.
Thanks. My name is Barbara Eilimo. I'm not a resident of Hackensack. I'm here representing Cipriano Enterprises. We were the second in line for the bid for the pistol range. And I see that you adopted the resolution to award it to Brinks, and we had protested their bid due to errors in their bid, and I wanted to know why, basically.
Turn it over to the attorney because he explained it.
Yes, well, I appreciate that, and yes, we are aware of the situation with the bid. And when we became aware of it, as I normally do when there is an issue involving a bid, I asked for documentation from both sides with an explanation or anything that they wanted me to provide, and then to look at the case law with respect to whether the bid is conforming or not. And obviously, this is a difficult call because, look, you know, obviously somebody is going to be disappointed, but I have to look and say, if, you know, my recommendation is that it goes to one bidder, the other may sue, and the other way, vice versa. With respect to the bid at issue here, the lowest bidder, we were able to understand what their bid was, right? They did not fill it in precisely, but it did not affect the actual amount of the bid, which we were able to discern. And there is case law that's kind of on point with these circumstances that says, look, when the intent of the bidder is clear and there is no doubt as to what the bidder intended, then it is still a properly responsive bid. And that's what the case law says. So it was my opinion that I've represented to the council, understanding that whatever happens here, there may be a legal challenge, that based upon my review of the bid, the engineer's review of the bid, the CFO's review of the bid, that we were able to understand and discern the intention of the lowest bidder without any question, that there was no opportunity for fraud or improper conduct with the bid. So based upon that, I made my recommendation to the council that it was a conforming bid, and the council therefore moved to approve it. And if that's something that you believe is improper, you have, you know, your legal remedies, and will respond if that occurs.
Okay, no,
but that's why we did what we did.
Yeah, I understand that, but just wondering why you have item number 6 in your bid package then, that states, hang on one second.
We're at 3 minutes, but I would recommend this gets taken offline, either with the city manager or with Mr. Kleinman.
Yep. Yeah, we can have further discussion. I think that's appropriate. I mean,
Well,
I know what
the
the
written
issue.
word shall govern, and
I understand your point, and I understand where you're coming from. I don't have a problem with the fact you raised it. However, that was the advice that I gave, that we stand behind, and if it goes to court,
All right, 'cause
that
if
we
it-
will.
Yeah, if you go by the word written, then their bid is over $3 million, or actually over $300 million.
I think it's
was.
300. I think it's
Over
$380
$300
million
so-
if it's interpreted that
Yeah,
way. But that's not the
exactly.
way it should be interpreted.
No, I understand, but we actually had lost the bid due to one minor discrepancy in a written word from another municipality. So,
Well, again, you know, we've made our
Made the
decision,
case.
and obviously we respect your
Okay.
position. It's nothing
I
against
just
you
want an
personally.
explanation, because we didn't get one.
And the meeting should be over shortly. If you want to wait a few more minutes, you could talk
Yeah.
about
That-
this in more detail with
Sure.
them.
Yep.
Thank you.
Next, please.
Good evening, Paul Nichols. I'm just getting my voice back. Perfect timing for our meeting tomorrow,
You're
right?
doing autographs now? I saw you. Quite the popular guy this week.
Oh, gosh. So I was just, the last time I was on Main Street, so I'll just start with this. Is there any update on, that I may not know about on the timeline for the the two-way thing on Main Street?
The city is working on sections of conversion of Main Street that has not been completely determined because we have some utility issues that we need to address.
Okay, thank you. I mentioned this a long time ago, and I know you guys got a lot to think about, so I'll bring it up again. When I and many people, as you know, take these buses, and now it's going to be on State Street, you may want to put up a lot more signage for, and I've been here a decade, so even when I travel up there, I still get, I mean, there's some points of interest that I know about, like the library and Sears and that kind of thing, but on this side, when you're going up and down, there are people may not know what's on Main Street from State Street.
Coincides to State Street?
Yeah, I mean, there are signs, and the ones that are there are good, but you may want to put more. So I don't know if you want to get with Main Street Alliance or something like that. But I just figured I'd bring up that point, because I do take the bus up there once in a while, so I can imagine how it would be for people that aren't from the area, or just travel through, you know? But the only thing other I'm going to say is it's National Recovery Month, and I can't remember what it was like several weeks ago that I had the opportunity to sit with people at the new county hospital, Newbridge Medical Center, formerly known as the Pines, and Bergen Regional, yep. And we hashed out some things on their detox and all kinds of recovery things. So if anybody ever knows in the community that needs recovery, they have all kinds of programs for that. So I'm glad that the summer's over and now we can get things done. And not that you're not getting nothing done, but you know what I mean. And hope this hot weather is over with soon.
Amen to that.
Yeah. All right, thanks. Have a good night.
Thank you. On a quick note, before anybody else, the bus issue is going to need some tweaking, I think, through the years with New Jersey Transit. I think the drop-offs should be on the cross street closer to Main Street instead of on State Street. So you're back in the center of town, not a block out. Because if you're going down for Moore Street, for instance, the bus depot, you're 2 blocks out. So it's something we might have to work with New Jersey Transit on. Next, please.
Regina DePasqua, Parker Avenue. First, most important, I want to wish Rich Serbo a speedy recovery. He had a procedure this past week. Get well, Rich. I know he's watching. Second, Johnson Park. The costs are just skyrocketing. I mean, I'm probably going to have to Oprah to get a handle on what it's costing to, clean up there. But I remember way back when Ken Ziza was thinking of putting his emergency command center there. And I clearly remember riding with Leo through that area and can't do it, the cleanup. I remember Emil saying, Kathy, your husband, saying, the cleanup is going to be astronomical. The reasons why Ken Ziza, there were other reasons why he couldn't do it, because he couldn't put a command center in a Green Acres. But the cleanup was of concern. Now it's of no concern. You've co-opted the idea of using Johnson Park, so there's no budget, there's no limit, there's no concern. It just strikes me, because I know years ago what you all said about Johnson Park and the cleanup. I know the history, and all of a sudden it's okay because it's for Leo. It was for Ken Ziza, it wasn't okay. The other thing I noticed, you introducing, the parking meter changes, and I believe on Sussex Street between Main and State on the north side, have you ever approved parking in that area? Because there was nothing, it was silent. So you're approving parking meters and payment without having, as far as I know, approved actual parking spaces, which have been put there for a while without an ordinance. There's no ordinance for parking in that area, but lines are painted, everything's there, and now you've approved meters for it, but never did the ordinance for parking there. And the fact that all the lines got painted and people are using these spaces outside Shore Pen, you know it well. I know you do, Leo, you know it well. You're there, what, every day, every other day for lunch? Somebody got parking without an ordinance. A business got parking without an ordinance. I don't know how that happens.
Thank you. Anybody else from the public? Seeing no one from the public, motion to close to the public.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to close the meeting. Wait a minute, sorry.
Yeah.
Daphne?
Oh, just a few things.
Chance to talk. Hungry.
Good, yeah, sorry, I'll be quick.
3 minutes.
Yeah, 3 minutes, that's it. September 13th, Project Clothesline on the Green. It's an organization which raises community awareness of violence against women, men, and children. So that's September 13th on the Green. As Ryan said, school's open tomorrow. Just a reminder for everyone to drive safely, and a reminder to parents and guardians to please be courteous to other drivers. Everyone's children have to get to school on time, and to be careful when letting children out. You know, you have to be aware of what's going on around you. In regards to Nixle, I think it's great. Everything's increasing. The message is it's important, and I'm a big fan of the new program. If we adopt that, I think it would be an asset to the community. And congratulations to the baseball team. It was a big win, and it's nice to hear of come behind victory. I know they struggled this season before. So thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Thanks, Steph. I agree. Another congratulations to that baseball team. You could see all their little smiling faces, and that's like one of the very few pleasant things we get to see sometimes at council meetings. So it was a pleasure having them here, and wonderful achievement for all of them. Just try to be quick. A couple of things that are on the agenda tonight that I think is worth mentioning. One is moving forward with hiring the Special Law Enforcement Officers 3. Again, this is to support our continuing relationship with the Board of Ed and provide better security. The state clearly defines, and there are some significant restrictions on who qualifies to be what we're calling a SLEO 3. But everyone out there in TV land or internet land, please, we're looking for folks. So if you meet those requirements, Hackensack's a great place to work. We have an excellent school system. We'd love to have you. So if you're out there and you're retired and you're meeting the qualifications, get your resumes in. We'll be happy to meet with you. Second thing on the agenda tonight was us moving forward with the new electronic-based parking meters. And this is a big step forward for the city of Hackensack. These new meters, a few things are in this. Actually, we're in this ordinance. One is that the new meters themselves will now be credit card capable or electronic capable, from your cell phone, etc. So that's a big move, forward from what we currently had. We also tried to make some better definitions with the use of these. One of the things is we established a fee for a construction site that's using it as a daily use. So in other words, if there's parking meters in front of your site and they have to be disabled during construction, we came up with a daily fee that now will at least offset the fact that those are no longer in use. We've come up with hourly fee updates for the parking lots. So this is not the garage, this is not the on-street parking, inside of the parking lots. We took a long, hard look at our monthly usage, folks that buy monthly parking passes, and we saw that there was a way to better utilize some of those spaces and make more parking available. So we've adjusted the time frame on that. So, monthly usage or monthly folks, if monthly spots only are not being used after 2 p.m., they will convert into folks that can now use this for metered use. So, by 2 p.m., most of the folks that are using monthlies are there for their businesses. And if we don't have enough occupancy, there's no reason we can't use those for others. Regina, I agree with you. We need an ordinance change for Sussex Street. What we're looking throughout the city is to maximize parking. I mean, parking is so important to the success of the city. So you're going to see parking spots coming up in a variety of places throughout the city as we determine where it's best needed. But it does, you're absolutely correct, and the lines are in. I don't believe that the meters are operational, but before they are, Ted and Steve, we have to get at least Sussex Street and anything else that's also outlined that was no longer defined for parking. We need that ordinance to be put in place. Last on the list of things important for the night was the Johnson Park remediation. And Regina brings it up, and quite frankly, I'm excited about it. I mean, it's something we've been talking about amongst ourselves for a long time. Again, maximizing use of the properties that the city has. Yes, we looked at it a number of years ago, and we re-looked at it again, and believe it or not, even though so many years have passed, we got it much less than we had looked at it a number of years ago. I think like $140,000 or $150,000 less than what currently the bids were at that time. So we got it, we got it. It was 500,000 when we looked at it.
750.
Well, 750 at one point, and then it got down to 500, and now, 350. So, and it is a valuable piece of property in the city, and by cleaning it up and maximizing the use, that's something that this council and the city is dedicated to doing throughout the city, taking full advantage of all the properties we have and providing the best uses for them. So I'm very happy to see that and that we're moving forward. Thanks everybody for coming out, and have a good night.
David?
The new playground at Fashini Park, the ribbon cutting ceremony. If the council wouldn't mind, that was the last project of the former Superintendent Pat Ruggiero, if she could be a part of the ribbon cutting ceremony.
Sure.
Thursday, we showed Black Panther, the movie Under the Stars. It was an overwhelming turnout. Friday night, the musical on the green was also another success. It rained, and two Fridays, and we used the HVAC, and also a great year. Randy Glover and company, thank you, Ms. Gaddis. Great action put on. Tomorrow is the first day of school. Let's have the kids have a great year. Thanks for coming out.
Leo?
Well, it was nice to see these coaches that are taking care of kids, and they're not only teaching the sports to play the proper way and be champion, but eventually, we're gonna get a bunch of good citizens from there. It's nice to see that. Related to the parking that Kathy was saying is maybe we need more signs to indicate where we got a problem parking, because sometimes people that maybe come here for the first time don't know exactly where this parking sign, and that way we can utilize better. It's nice to see that we continue with the sewers and the stormwater separations, and we're going to continue by the time we finish. And we have to handle the problems in Fushini Park, the flooding problem, before we continue putting any more money, because it don't make any sense to try to put more money into the park when we get sometimes 2-3 feet of water. The other problem that I got is the bicycles and the sidewalks. We got bicycles in the sidewalk in Main Street, and about a few months ago, I almost get hit by a bike. Then the guy's son, that he got a insurance company. One of the ladies that were there got hit by a bike, and other people have been complaining about that because they not only go fast, but now they are driving, using the bike, and they are on the phone. One of the days we're gonna have a big accident there. And I hope so the high school buses now they got the shoulders and like a 3 points, and that way they're gonna be secure. What else we got? And I got requests to try to take care of some particular street that have been neglected for so many years, like Euclid's, from Prospect to Summit, Prospect from Passaic to Ross, and Second Street. I think we should be take care of this. Thank you for coming. Have a good night.
Thank you. I'll reiterate, school starts tomorrow. Pay attention driving out there. You've had a whole summer of not seeing a lot of kids on the street. All of a sudden, there's gonna be a lot of school kids around. Pay attention. It's a lot of them are little. You can't see them. They don't. Sometimes they're not paying attention, so we got to pay attention for them. I'd like to congratulate our baseball team. Great job. Coaches did a great job. I actually worked with the young lady who was the team mom. She's a great lady, and was glad to see her here. I too am excited about the electronic meters. Also Johnson Park, you know, I don't think I was that concerned about Johnson Park cleanup as I was about putting another pistol range in Johnson Park. I think that was my biggest objection at that time. I think in hindsight, or looking forward now, I think it's necessary that we clean it up no matter what, because we have a lot of kids down there. We don't know how much of that water's going into the river. We have no idea, there's no way for us to know. So it's our job, it's in our city, we'll get rid of it. The price isn't too bad, it came down, that's a good thing. The school bus issue, Leo brought it up, and kudos to Paramus, because they, you know, after having that horrific accident, they've gone ahead and put the shoulder harness seatbelts in all of their buses. When you think about all the things that happen in this country and all the complaining going on and everything else, this is such an easy fix across this whole country that I would ask that, you know, and I will be talking to senators and congressmen, this should be a federal law. I mean, this is a no-brainer here, putting 3-point harnesses or shoulder harnesses in school buses. It's like, I mean, Paramus did it in a couple months, done. And I think all private bus companies that service towns like us or other towns should be mandatory as well. And I just wish, you know, we would fix the, you know, you always say the low-lying fruit. Well, it can't get any lower than this one. I mean, putting the proper seatbelts to protect children in a bus is a no-brainer for me. But everybody, to you teachers out there, have a wonderful school year. All right, and you kids have a good time and study hard, and everybody have a safe trip home. Thank you. Motion closed.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
None opposed.